Alright, everybody. Thank you for joining me for another episode of I Bought a Microphone. I'm happy to be back. I'm sure you never thought you'd hear from me again. I kind of never thought I'd do this again, but, I figured I'd give it a shot. And, I think I got maybe a thing or two to actually talk about today, so we'll see how that goes. I got a new setup for my microphone. I was using an arm, that kind of professional sort of thing, but I don't have a regular desk. I have a plastic table with curved edges, and I kept feeling like the thing was going to fly off of there, so I'm trying it on a little tripod that I got in front of me, though I have to be even more careful about banging the table, which I wasn't able to edit out all of those for last time, but so we'll see what we can do. And yeah, as far as editing goes, I'm getting better at it. I don't really edit for content. I kind of talk unfiltered. I pretty much just edit out pauses, which there's quite a few. I have kind of a broken speech pattern. I like to formulate my words before they come out of my mouth, so sometimes that means I tend to, like, I can do this first part, like this first 3 or 4 minutes, I won't edit any of the pauses, and you'll see exactly why I do that. Like that video that I posted, the last one was 30 minutes long, and I cut out literally 4 minutes of pauses. So, yeah. Just to, keep things flowing. Keep it moving, at a brisk pace. But anyway, the topic that I wanted to talk about is a little segment I'm going to call Things I'm Not Allowed to Complain About. And I mean, it's a real kind of small thing to some people. It kind of irritates me, though, a bit. And that's superheroes in movies and TV shows. Hot topic these days. I think Marvel's made $50 billion? No, it's not that much, but still, it's a considerable amount of money. I wouldn't be shocked if it actually was $50 billion. That's all I'll say. But the thing that I'm not really allowed to complain about, and it's going to get me into a couple of touchy areas that I will do my best to tiptoe around, is the recasting of kind of iconically blonde, you might say Aryan-looking superheroes, to make them less so. Changing their iconic look and making it, I don't know what the reason for the change is, but so, for example, I love a little TV show on the CW called The Flash. I'm a big fan. Everything that they're doing, they can keep doing it. In fact, I like the whole Arrowverse. You can take your complaints and all of that and just shove it up your ass, because I don't need to hear it. I unabashedly love it, everything about it. Arrow and its ridiculous melodrama, and Flash and just its kind of fun, it's like a TV show that I would have made if I was 10 years old, again, and they asked me to make a TV show. It's the type of show that it's just so fun and cool, and they got King Shark and all sorts of fucking crazy stuff. But Barry Allen, a blonde superhero in the comics, typically how he's portrayed, unless it's some sort of alternate reality or something. But cast him as a brunette, and I like Grant Gustin. I like what he does with the character. You know, the weight of the world on your shoulders, and he balances that with the fun that having that superpower must be. Like, it's got to be insane. I mean, he can essentially, from the comics, like, move faster than the speed of light. I don't know how that's supposed to work physically, but, it's a comic book. We don't worry about things like physics when you're talking about the Speed Force. But, again, it just kind of irritates me that he's not blonde. That's all I'm saying. Then there is another DC project known as the Justice League, which I just saw recently, and I gotta say, I didn't hate it, but I didn't really like it either. Pretty underwhelming. I couldn't even, summon up a fury like I could for Batman v Superman. I just kind of, it's alright. Flash in that one, by the way, I'm not even going to look up that dude's name, but also not blonde. And here was the chance to do it again. It's not like there's a wealth of blonde superheroes out there that we need to be fighting from, but still, not blonde. Another brunette. And then there is the mighty superhero from under the sea, typically shown with locks of gold. Sometimes he's got a beard, sometimes he doesn't, but super freaking blonde. Aquaman. So who do they cast for this blonde superhero? Khal fucking Drogo? Probably the darkest white man I've ever seen. He lives under the sea. Where's he getting the pallor from? The sunlight does not penetrate that deep where the merfolk live. And again, it's not a skin color thing. It's not a racial thing. That's not where I'm going with this. I'm just talking as a blonde man who feels underrepresented in superhero movies. I'm overrepresented everywhere else in the world. I realize that. But superheroes are my thing. And it just kind of hurts. That's all. I don't even get the reason for it. Because Superman, the guy that got to play Superman both times, well, all 3 times if we count Christopher Reeve, which we can, spitting fucking image of Superman. Spitting image. Square jaw, thick dark hair, bulging muscles in a tight suit, iconic, like I said before. And they cast him very specific. Why can't they do that with my favorite superheroes? The Flash being one of them. Aquaman's not. Now, Chris Evans, who is a muscly-armed blonde man, and Thor, played by Chris Hemsworth, also a muscly-armed blonde man. Both of those, spot on. So, Marvel getting it right. Marvel getting it right. Now, if we go to Fox, who made that god awful, horrible Fanforstic, so bad, and if I can get off on a tangent here, supposedly Disney has bought the rights to Fox's whole entertainment, movie franchise, including all of their comic book properties. So I'm really, really looking forward to Fantastic Four adaptation, because they're one of my favorite superhero properties of all time. But anyway, so in that horrible movie, another blonde superhero, Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, they changed his entire race for seemingly no reason. And again, it's not that he's a black guy that pisses me off. It's the fact that they changed him at all. Johnny Storm, who still has a blonde sister in that movie. I guess she's adopted. I don't know. I don't remember a lot of it. I just remember the hate. But Johnny Storm, another blonde superhero that they took away. And they don't do that with all superheroes. It only seems to be the blonde ones that they do that with. And I don't really get why. I mean, in the first two Fantastic Four movies, they cast Chris Evans as the Human Torch, and he was perfectly cast. He wasn't quite as bulky back then. He was a little thinner, a little more lithe. I don't know, do you use lithe for men? I guess we will in this case. We'll call him more lithe in the Fantastic Four movie. So perfect. Jessica Alba does not have blonde hair, and they gave her blonde hair for the role of Susan Storm. So at least that movie, for all its flaws, and it has many, that pair of movies, whatever, that franchise, for all its flaws, at least that franchise kept to the visual aesthetic of the characters, if not necessarily the characterizations of all of, all the details. And again, going back to the beginning of this piece, this isn't really something that you can get mad about, because it's just cosmetic. And, if they play the characters well, like Grant Gustin does, you can look past it. I just find it irritating. And again, it's not... Bruce Wayne's never blonde. He's always got brown hair. Whoever plays him. I'm talking Barry Allen and Aquaman especially. Look at pictures of him from the comic books. Duper, electric blonde hair. And I don't see the reason to change that aesthetic, especially on a character who's visually... Both characters remain visually unchanged since the 30s? Long time. At least by the 40s. And nobody changes the way Wonder Woman looks. I mean, they went back to the old costume, the more iconic costume, which makes perfect sense to me. They didn't cast a blonde woman as Wonder Woman, and why would you? She's got a very specific look that you want to capture. Gal Gadot fits that perfectly. I don't see why it's the blonde dudes that gotta fall. And I guess a small mention would go to Daredevil, Matt Murdock. Again, pretty specific look for that guy. And Charlie Cox is great. But he's not a redhead. And they don't even try to make him really look. So Deborah Ann Wall, who's usually seen with red hair, she's blonde. It's Karen Page. So they kept that aesthetic again. Marvel doing a little better job. A little. And what's the point, Matthew? Why do you care? I got better things to do with my time. There's more important things to worry about. But you know what? And I gotta... Okay. So let me put it this way. I mean, these things matter. They're part of our history. Going back decades. I mean, Superman, probably the most iconic superhero of all time, is going to be 85 this year. That's a not insignificant period of time to be part of the social contract. Aquaman, he's going back 70-something years. 41. What's that? 77 years. So, and I'm sure The Flash is around that time as well. That's a long time. And they've gone through, costume redesigns. Hair gets longer, hair gets shorter. Sometimes you get a beard, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you die and end up in the Speed Force and Wally West takes your place. And you notice I don't give a shit about Wally West being recast as a black guy. I don't care about that. Because Wally West, not really the Flash to me. It will always be Barry Allen. He's got the best backstory of all of the Flashes, and there's been a ridiculous number of them. At least 5 that I can think of off the top of my head. But mother murdered, becomes a forensic scientist, works at night to try to solve her murder. Meanwhile, he fights crime as the Flash. He can run faster than anything, but he can't outrun himself. These are important characters. That's why they've endured so long. If they were insignificant, we would forget about them. Like Nomad. I'm the only one that remembers Nomad anymore. Look him up. He was Captain America's partner for a while, if you really, really having trouble finding him. These are not the ones that get shirts made of them and end up on the side of roller coasters. Nobody's ever going to make a Nomad roller coaster, but they might make one of the Flash, if they haven't already. Seems like it just designs itself, right? Just make it fast. A couple of loop-de-doops and some swirly-whirlies, and then go up the side of something and come back down. Really fast. Done. There. You're halfway there to a new roller coaster, Six Flags. Get on it. Small addendum, of course. I know that there are roller coasters of those superheroes in the Six Flags parks because it's owned by Warner Brothers. Regardless, they have endured not because of the park, but the park endures because of them. Because of the legacy of the DC properties and of course the Looney Tunes characters. Anyway, all that's a ridiculous tangent with my original point off the subject. So bringing it back around to where I started this point about 10. Their design matters. They were chosen specifically. If I wanted to recast the Black Panther as a white guy, people would be upset about that. Rightfully so. Because it's dumb. It's not about skin color. It's not about the color of somebody's skin or their ethnicity or anything. That's not what I'm talking about. It's about design. It's about character design not being messed with. I mean, when George Lucas went back and messed with characters and features in Star Wars, people were understandably upset. And that's what this is for me. Also, there is a little blonde 10-year-old inside this 36-year-old dude that's like, why? Why isn't he blonde? He's supposed to be blonde. Right? I'm just saying. Where's my representation? Man, no, I probably won't say that. I'm just saying. At least I've got Captain America. And my Nordic brother Thor. At least nobody's messed with those. And rightfully they shouldn't. And you know what? At some point, Chris Hemsworth's probably gonna step out. And they're gonna recast Thor. Probably as a woman. There is a female Thor. And you know what? She better be blonde. Because the comic book character is. That's all I'm saying. I don't ask for a lot. But you're using a visual art form. You're transferring it to another medium. The visual aesthetic should stay the same. It's a small thing. And I can't believe I talked about it this long. I thought this was going to be a shorter episode. And it will be. It's not going to be 30 minutes this time, but it's still longer than I I had a lot more to say than I thought I. And there are important things that we need to deal with. But the argument can be made that the preservation of art and characters from said art is one of those things that is important. And to recast, to change, to remold the visual archetypes, the visual aesthetic that a particular character has maintained for, again, decades, for, seemingly no reason. I don't understand it. Also, why does Aquaman's trident have 5 points? Anyway, that's a topic for another day. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I don't know where I'm going with this, like I said, but I'll try to make them semi-regular. If any one of you have any notes or any ideas, hit me up, let me know what you think. As always, take care of yourselves. And I love you guys. This is I Bought a Microphone, episode 2, signing off.